Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Francis Ngannou is back and he is the new PFL heavyweight champion of the world. He just produced one of the most devastating ground and pound knockouts over Renan Ferreira. The problem just got solved and it was brutal. Francis just reminded everyone about who he really is, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and the baddest man on the planet. He had his first MMA fight in almost 3 years against an opponent who was perceived by many as a monster and who was bigger than him, and he absolutely mauled him inside one round. It was scary. People have short term memories. They only remember how Francis Ngannou was viciously knocked out by Anthony Joshua just a few months back. That's the lasting impression in everyone's mind. But they don't understand, had it been in an MMA ring, he would have ripped Joshua apart limb by limb. And then there was a huge loss in his personal life. His little son, Kobe, passed away. Nothing can compare to the pain of losing a child in front of your eyes. No matter how strong you are, it breaks you. And Francis was distraught after losing his only child. So, to motivate himself after such a devastating loss shows the mental fortitude of Francis as a fighter. And he also wanted to do this for his son. He has said many times that he didn't get an opportunity to fight for his son. This fight was his chance to fight for him. And he had a monumental task in front of him. His opponent, Renan Ferreira, was 6 feet 8, over 260 pounds. An absolute monster who towered over Francis. He had an 85 reach advantage and was a knockout artist himself. Seeing him dwarfing Francis in the presser actually made the fans feel scared for him. And this guy had knocked out everyone he had fought. So Francis had been out of the ring for a long time, and in his first match back, he had to face this beast of a man. Even Jake Paul looked terrified to be standing in the middle of them. The fight was never going to go the distance. While people are wary of Ferreira, they also knew of the power Francis possessed. He sends people to another dimension with his strikes. The fight began, and Francis landed a huge leg kick which buckled Ferreira's leg. He returned the favor with a leg kick of his own. Ferreira threw a right hand that hardly missed Francis, and because of his reach, he would have always had the edge when it comes to striking. Then Francis decided to turn the tables and take Ferreira down. Francis isn't a wrestler by any means, but his strength is superhuman. He mauled Cyril Gane on the ground previously, and he picked Renan Pereira with ease and landed a takedown. The last thing you want is Francis Ngannou on top of you. The upper body strength that he possesses, it becomes impossible for guys who are underneath him to get up. And Ferreira looked all at sea on the ground. Francis took his time, flattened him, and then landed some heavy ground and pound. Ferreira was knocked out when Francis started landing those bombs. But the referee Dan Magliotta somehow waited and waited. You don't want to take those extra shots from Francis Ngannou on the back of your head. It can change your face forever. And Ferreira went out before Francis landed even few more strikes on him. The expression on Renan Ferreira's face after he kind of got his wits about him was one of shock. Francis seemed to be more relieved. He was emotional after the fight. Memories of his son came flooding to his memory. He was overwhelmed. The big man, the baddest man in the world, was left in tears. It was probably his last fight, like he mentioned in the post-fight presser. But Francis Ngannou was a beast, and he just reminded everyone of that. People were always debate whether Francis would have beaten John Jones up in a fight. After seeing what he did to a big man like Renan Ferreira, questions will continue to linger. Have you ever seen John Jones do that to any fighter in the last 5 years? In light heavyweight, the answer is no. If a Dominic Reyes or a Thiago Santos or an Alexander Gustafsson or even Anthony Smith can put John Jones in a scary situation, then what do you think Francis Ngannou would do with him? If by some chance Francis were to get his hands on Jones, it won't matter because Francis is too strong. And even if Francis were to face someone like a Tom Aspinall, the fight would not have been as one-sided as people make out to be because Tom is fast for a heavyweight and he has good takedown defense and he can wrestle as well, he can grapple as well. But the power of both men are superhuman. If Aspinall connects, it would have been night-night for Francis, but the same can happen to Aspinall as well. And Francis is a big heavyweight. He can take Aspinall down as well. Unfortunately, these are the two fights that the MMA fans would never witness in their lifetime. Because Francis had achieved everything that he had set out to do. He walked out on his UFC contract when he was the champion. He went to boxing in his own terms, faced Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, lost a close fight to Fury, got knocked out by AJ, but earned millions in the way. He is set for life. And what's even better is in his comeback fight, and if it were to be his last fight, he went out and became the PFL heavyweight champion of the world. Nothing can top this. Francis Ngannou will always be remembered as one of the most devastating heavyweight fighters to have ever stepped in the octagon. And the lineal MMA heavyweight champion. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.